Hey guys, I'm Caleb.
And I'm Gavin.
And this is our channel, Sissu Performance and Engineering.
Our goals for this channel are to document the car behind us and many more projects to come.
We have quite a few parts that we're planning on building, and we'd love for you to join us on this journey to see our build process and the use of them.
Quick background on us, I got into competition at a very young age racing bikes, and that translated into wanting to race cars. And so I went to school at the University of Northwestern Ohio to further my mechanical knowledge and really get into this.
And for me, my mechanical knowledge started on the farm. I grew up on a family farm, and I kind of progressed from there. I went to college for agricultural engineering, decided that quite wasn't for me, and I went into automotive, and I went to the University of Northwestern Ohio as well, and that's where I met Gavin, and that's kind of my mechanical past.
While in college, my brother was looking for a daily driver back in Bend, Oregon, and I ended up finding him a Mazda 323 GTX down in California. While this might not have been the best decision, I ended up flying out there and picking it up. And that experience driving that car back to Bend really made me get addicted to the GTX and what it represents.
And quickly after buying that car, you ended up flying back to college and bringing that excitement and the joy of driving the 323 back to me, and we ended up finding two of them for sale out in Indianapolis. So we made the quick 3-hour drive over there, bought them, and both cars were not in the best condition. They were non-running.
Yeah, and really rust was the name of the game here. Both being Midwest cars, they were both pretty rusty, and the white one ended up just being used for parts because it had been tinkered with quite a bit in the past. While the red one had a pretty decent interior, and so we decided to start going forward with that one and modifying it.
We started out with obviously very basic modifications such as a bigger intercooler, a chipped ECU, and running a little bit more boost. It was still very daily driver-esque. Ended up racing in the SCCA rallycross a couple times in West Virginia. The car performed quite well.
And these were pretty standard upgrades that you'd find on any GTX in the 90s. And then I ended up moving back to Bend after school and bringing the GTX back with me.
I also as well ended up moving out to Bend, Oregon after I graduated, and that's really where we started moving forward on the rallycross build.
And that build entailed adding a VJ20 turbo, which was a JDM turbo, and upping the boost even more than we had previously.
We ended up racing in the Northwest Rally Association Wintercross series at Dirtfish, and the car actually performed quite well.
Yeah, that was until I blew up the turbo while messing around in the snow. And then from there, we decided to go all out and built a custom exhaust manifold, custom exhaust, went to a standalone ECU, a bigger turbo. All the fun stuff that you can do, and now the car is running better than ever.
We've been competing at the Northwest Rally Association Rallycross in a couple events, and the car's been performing tip-top shape, and we're really excited with how it's been moving along. Going back a couple years while we were still in college, what really got us into rally was we had the opportunity to volunteer at the Southern Ohio Forest Rally.
Yep, and this was an awesome opportunity. We got to basically volunteering entails standing on the side of the road and getting up close and personal with the rally cars. We got sprayed by rocks by Ken Block. Saw Brandon Simonak and a ton of other drivers that are very prevalent in the American rallying scene. And at this event, we kind of knew, like, this is what we want to do. This is pretty cool, and that's why we moved forward with the stage rally car. And that really directly translates into this car behind us and why we picked that. And you might be thinking, like, okay, a rallycross, you can do whatever you want with it, but why would we choose the 323 GTX? And that really stems back to Mazda's pursuit of rally.
In the 1986, Mazda ended up joining the Group A WRC, After making a bunch of money from selling RX-7s in the earlier 80s, they had so much money laying around that they were like, hey, let's go racing.
In 1989, Mazda ended up winning Rally Sweden and Rally New Zealand that year.
They also had quite a few other podium finishes, which really proved the car on the world stage.
Yeah.
Came in 1988 to the States, Rod Millen took over, and he ended up winning the SCCA Pro Rally Championship in 1988 and 1989.
If you're not familiar with Rod Millen, you should definitely look him up. He's very successful in the Pikes Peak hill climb, and one of the famous New Zealand drivers that drove a lot of really cool cars. That really directly translates into this behind us, which we had this car caged by Stephen Redding up in Woodland, Washington. And now it's really just up to us to build it into a full stage rally car.
So we have the logbook and everything, and now we are starting to dive in, fully taking apart the car completely and getting it to a full rally stage setup car.
And how that's going to look for us is going with an NA engine. We're going to be racing in the NA four-wheel drive class to try and be somewhat competitive. Now, we don't expect to win anything with this car to start because it's a very old chassis and we just want to have really a lot of fun with it. Drivetrain, we're going with a GTR transmission, and engine is going to be a 1.8, eventually upgrading to a 2-liter.
Now, to make ourselves a little bit more competitive, really weight is what is going to get us there. And we are going to try to be at our lowest weight that we can possibly be at. So that's going to include making a lot of carbon fiber parts, such as carbon fiber fenders, hood, and the hatch, which weighs a boatload.
Yeah, it's really all that this car has going for it. And along with that, we plan on developing parts on this chassis and many more to come that we'd like to sell to you guys.
We have quite a few parts that we are in development right now, such as a manifold, which is actually more tailored towards the rallycross GTX car. We also have a bushing kit, a full suspension bushing kit, and then we have plans to make a fuel pump, hangers, and transfer pump setup.
And of course, all the composite components that we're going to be creating.
So this is definitely a dream that we have been creating for quite some amount of time, and we're really excited to share it with you guys. We are excited to see what the future brings, and we hope that you will join us along this and support our channel, and thank you.
Yep, and we'll see you out on the stages.